are doing we're working on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, so you need to be working on your independent reading project, Rainier. And if you are done with your independent reading project, then you need to be reading for AR, or you could go on Study Island if you'd like. What happened? All right, my lovely friends, I'm going to get started reading. We are on page 90. Remember, Roderick had just won the smelly shoe competition. Roderick was eating the fried stick of butter, etc. Yeah, make sure you're on mute. Besides me. But I had a serious close call when I turned the corner and almost ran smack into the entire Beardo family. Luckily, I was able to duck for cover just in time. Who is this lovely Beardo family? Who are they? Where did they come from? Tell me. Who's the Beardo family in my chat? Tell me. Mr. Landon and Miss Olivia, I need more information in that. Yeah, Nikilan, correct. They came from the hotel. They're the family from the hotel. So he named them the Beardos for whatever reason. That's what he named them. Now that I knew the Beardos were on the fairground, I was eager to get out of there. I went to look for Roderick, but he must have gone back to the van. I decided to head there myself. But on the way, I spotted the top of Mom's head and a crowd under one of the livestock tents. People were packed shoulder to shoulder, and I tried pushing my way through to get where Mom was. But when I got halfway in, a big cheer went up. Hooray! When I finally made it up to the front, I was surprised to see Manny standing in the middle of the crowd holding a piece of paper. Apparently, there was a contest to see who could come the closest to guessing the weight of a hog, and Manny got it exactly right. What is a hog? If you don't know what a hog is, guess what? The illustration could help you out. What's a hog? A pig. Yep, you're right, Landon. So it's a pig. The prize for guessing the hog's weight was a real live baby pig. What the heck are they going to do with the real live baby pig right now? I have no idea. Like, it may be small, but it's still a pig. Mom explained to the judge that they just entered the contest for fun. They didn't actually want the pig. But the people in the crowd seemed kind of insulted and wouldn't take no for an answer. With all the commotion this was causing, I was nervous the Beardo family was going to come over to the livestock tent to see what was going on. Well, they could eat the pig, but the problem is, how are they going to eat the pig right now? Just for the record, there's no way to eat the pig in the middle of the fair. Luckily, by then, Mom seemed ready to get out of there herself, and we made our way to the exit. Dad was sitting in the van with the air conditioning cranked up, and when he saw Mom carrying a pig, he was a little taken by surprise. Mom filled Dad in on how Manny won the pig in the contest, but he didn't seem too thrilled with the news. Dad said we had no business owning a pig and that we needed to take it back to the fair immediately. But Mom said it was too late because the pig already imprinted on Manny. Does anyone know what it means when they say imprinted on? Oh, can you let him in, Miss Molly? Yes, it means bonded. Molly, you are correct. Isaac, we're on page 94. It means bonded, like it imprinted on, so it's already things like Manny's like its mom or something. Like the pig already has a connection with Manny, apparently, says the mom. Dad still wasn't on board, though. He said a pig is a barn animal and could be carrying all sorts of pesticides and whatnot. But Mom said a lot of people keep pigs as pets, and she'd heard they're just as smart as dogs. Then Roger got in on the conversation. He voted for keeping the pig because he said we could get free bacon from it every morning, the way you get eggs from a chicken. Okay, in case you're wondering, that's not how bacon works. Eggs are laid by chickens. To get bacon from a pig, you actually have to kill the pig. So apparently, Mr. Roderick does not understand how a pig works. So he either doesn't understand how pigs works or he just wasn't thinking all the way through it. I was all in favor for keeping the pig if it meant we could hurry up and get going. I noticed a purple van parked a few spaces away from ours, and I was nervous the Beardos would show up at any second. Dad finally caved in. He said if we were gonna keep the pig, it would have to ride in the boat. But Mom said putting the pig in the boat was inhumane and said we needed to find a place for it in the van. Okay, so this van is already packed to the brim, but now they have to find a spot for a stinking pig. Thing is, there wasn't anywhere to put the pig in the van. We couldn't just let it roam free, and we couldn't exactly strap it in with a seatbelt either. So Mom emptied out the cooler and put the pig in there. Once that was settled, we finally pulled out of the parking lot. After we put a few miles between us and the fair, I could finally breathe again. We are on page 97, Logan. But the pig started causing trouble right away. By the time we got back on the highway, it had tipped over the cooler and was rooting around in one of Mommy's meal bags. So, in case you don't know what rooting means, rooting is what pigs do with their nose. So, they don't like go through stuff with their arms or their legs or whatever you want to call them. They do it with their nose. So, they like go through stuff with their nose. So, it's called rooting. I had to wrestle the pig back into the cooler, and this time I strapped the seatbelt across it so it wouldn't tip over. Everyone, take 5 seconds real quick. Mr. Evan, don't you have projects to do along with your book? Yeah, you finished your book, but did you finish the projects that go along with the book? There are definitely things you have to do for the book. It's not just reading the book. There's other parts you have to do. Like quite a few other parts. All right, sorry. Mom figured the pig was hungry, so she said we needed to stop and get it some food. Her idea was for us to go to a restaurant and then give the pig our leftovers. That sounded like a good deal to me, since it meant we'd actually get to have a sit-down dinner. We found a place to eat a few miles away, and Mom stayed in the back of the van with the pig while the rest of us went inside. But when the waitress saw that Roderick was only wearing one shoe, she said she couldn't serve him. Goodness. Dad said me and Roger could take turns using my shoe, but I wish I hadn't let Roger go first because he is the world's slowest eater. When we got back in the van, we gave the pig our leftover corn and vegetables, which it ate straight out of the styrofoam container. Mom started looking up places to stay for the night on the GPS. She asked Roderick to call the hotel to see if they had any rooms available. They did, but Roderick blew it by getting too specific. They say no pigs. Mom found another place a few miles away, and this time she did the talking. The hotel was just after the tolls, a few 100 feet from the exit. Traffic came to a crawl. Does anyone know what it means if I said traffic came to a crawl? What does that mean? Type it in the chat. Yeah, so Logan, traffic, yeah, it means that there's traffic, but it means it's slow. So if it came to a crawl instead of, driving, all of a sudden, here we are driving, but now it's like inch, 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 came slow. That was a problem for me because I had 2 big glasses of lemonade at the restaurant and I really needed to use the bathroom. I spotted a gas station up ahead and asked Mom and Dad if I could hop out and use the bathroom, then catch up with the car after I was done. Dad didn't like that idea because he was worried that by the time I got back, they might already have been through the toll booth. But now it was pretty obvious the pig needed to go too because it was running in little circles inside the cooler. Mom said I could use the bathroom at the gas station as long as I brought the pig with me. So I tucked it under my arm and ran across 3 lanes of traffic to the gas station. I tried the handle to the men's room, but it was locked. I waited for the person using it to come out, but whoever was in there wasn't in any rush to wrap things up. I was getting kind of desperate, so I tried the handle on the women's room, but that was locked too. I ran back to the car, which had only moved forward about 5 feet in the time I was gone. When I told Mom that both restrooms were occupied, she said gas station bathrooms are always locked and that I had to ask the attendant for the key. So I ran back to the gas station and told the guy at the desk I needed to use the restroom in a hurry. I'm not sure what I was expecting from a gas station bathroom, but it was actually a lot worse than I could have ever imagined. Let's just say it was pretty awkward using the toilet with a farm animal staring right at me. But the pig was even more embarrassed than I was because when it was the pig's turn to go, nothing happened. Okay, that just seems like a big old debacle. After I gave the key back to the attendant, I spotted our van just about to go through the toll booth, so I sprinted all the way across the traffic to get in on time. But before I opened the door, I wish I had noticed that the van didn't have a boat attached to it. Our van was actually still a few cars back, and by the time I got inside, the pig looked like he was about to burst. Okay, so he literally got in the wrong van. Haha, silly. I guess Mom was right about the pigs being smart because when I put him on Manny's potty seat, he knew exactly what to do. Oink. All right, so we started this lovely adventure on Friday, and now it is Monday. And I don't know about you, but I think that literally nothing very exciting or fun or good has happened on this trip. Manny is either sleeping or they're in a bad hotel. The fair didn't really seem that fun to me, and now they have a pig with them. So, in my opinion, this would not be a prime vacation. Okay, not fun. So now we're on Monday. When we pulled up to the hotel last night, I was relieved that it looked a lot better, a lot nicer than the place we stayed before. Mom and Dad weren't taking any chances on getting turned away at the desk because of the pig, so we kept it in the cooler until we got into our room. I think Mom felt bad about the sleep situation at the motel the first night because this time she rented 2 rooms so everyone would have a bed. But I should have known there was a catch. Mom said that since she and Dad and Manny in their room, the pig was going to have to stay in ours. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with the pig, so I tried putting it in our bathtub, but it started whimpering the second I set it down. I decided to let the pig loose in the bathroom, but when I peeked inside a few minutes later, it had made a terrible mess in there, and I'm pretty sure it ate a bar of soap too. I let the pig free in the bedroom so I could keep an eye on it, but the first thing it did was go straight to the door connecting the 2 rooms. Eventually, Dad got sick of all the noise and opened the door to let the pig in. I was so tired I fell asleep before my head hit the pillow. This morning, I woke up to a sound of weird noises coming from the foot of my bed. At first, I thought Roger had gotten up early, but then I realized it was a sound coming from the pig. It had somehow figured out how to open the minibar and was rooting through the candy and other snacks. I picked the pig up and put it in our bathtub and went next door to tell Mom and Dad what happened. And it turned out the pig had riled through their minibar too. Somehow it had gotten in the drinks and I counted at least 3 empty cans on the floor, and don't even ask me how the pig managed to do that. So, fun fact about pigs, they will literally eat anything in sight. So if there's food, they're gonna eat it regardless of what it is. Pigs will actually eat like a human body. If you were to leave it in like a pig pen, like I don't know about a baby pig, but pigs would actually eat a human body. So that's just fun fact in there. So this pig saw some food and he's just chomping away. Yeah, goats eat things too. Snap. Dad went down to the front desk to tell them our pet. Yes, pigs are very smart, and it's a pet in quotes because it's not like a dog had gotten into the minibar, and we shouldn't be charged for all the stuff it ate. But the clerk told Dad we were going to have to pay for the stuff from the minibar. On top of that, there was a $50 penalty for violating the hotel's no pet policy. So, personally, I think that the Heffley family should have to pay for the stuff in the minibar. It's your pet. You're responsible for what it does. So Dad's like, no, it got into the minibar. It ate the stuff. I didn't eat it. Well, but it's your pet. So I personally think they should be responsible for it, even though the dad doesn't think so. That's just my opinion. After that final tally, the pig ended up costing us more than the rooms did. Mom was eager to get on the road, so she woke Roderick up and told him to get in the shower. But I probably should have mentioned to him that the pig was in the bathtub before he stepped in. Scream. When I got in the car, Dad was on the phone with his office. Apparently, there was some sort of emergency, and he was the only one who knew how to take care of it. Mom had planned a big day for us with lots of stuff, so she wasn't happy that Dad had to deal with a work situation. But we hit the road anyway, and Dad talked on the phone while he drove. Our first stop was a place that claimed to have the largest piece of popcorn in the world, which ended up not being that impressive. First of all, it wasn't a real piece of popcorn. It was a wood carving. And second, it wasn't even that big. When we got out of the car, Dad stayed back on his car. The pig stayed too, sleeping off the drinks from the minibar. Next, we went to the place that's supposedly world famous because it has life-size carvings of the U.S. president in butter. Okay. This time, Mom made Dad get out of the van and join us, but he stayed on the phone the whole time. When we got back in the car, Mom let Dad know it wasn't okay for him missing out on our family time, but Dad told her he just needed to deal with one more work issue, and after it was taken care of, he'd give us his full attention. Dad said he was about to get a call from one of his international clients, and that when he did, it was really important for everyone to stay quiet so it would seem like Dad was in the office. It didn't look like that was going to be a big problem. Manny was already down for his afternoon nap, and the pig was still passed out in the cooler. A few minutes later, Dad's call came in, and we could tell by how loud the guy was talking that he was upset. But Dad spoke in a real even tone, and his client seemed to calm down. The rest of us stayed as quiet as we could, but then Roderick got. Hold on, I need to sneeze. Sorry. A few minutes later, Dad's call came in, and you could tell. Oh, wait, we already read that. Sorry. The rest of us stayed as quiet as we could, but then Roderick got out one of his packs of bubble gum and put all 5 pieces in his mouth and started chewing real loud. Thank you, Mackenzie. Mom snapped her fingers to try to get him to stop making so much noise, but her finger snapping was actually louder than the gum chewing, which you could tell was irritating Dad. Dad wanted Roderick to get rid of his gum, or Mom wanted Roderick to get rid of his gum, so she pressed the button to open up the sunroof. But when she did, the sound of blowing air inside the van was like a jet turbine. Mom realized she had made a mistake, so she pressed the button to close the sunroof. But before she shut it all the way, Roderick chucked his gum through the opening. The gum boomeranged right back in and got stuck in the gear track of the sunroof. Mom frantically pressed the close button, but the sunroof was jammed open. At that moment, the air rushing in from outside dislodged Flat Stanley from the vent, and he went flying. Bye, Flat Stanley. Dad was having a really hard time concentrating on his call and was fumbling with the buttons to try and shut the sunroof himself. But now he didn't have hands on the wheels and was steering with his knees. Dad started drifting out of his lane, and the driver of a huge tractor trailer let us know, which made Dad drop his phone. So a tractor trailer would be like a semi. The horn also startled Manny, and his pacifier popped out and onto the floor. Manny was sucking air like he still had his pacifier in his mouth, and I knew we had about 10 seconds to find it before he had a full-on tantrum. I spotted the pacifier on the floor in front of me, and I tried to unfasten my seatbelt so I could reach it. But instead, I accidentally unbuckled the seatbelt holding the cooler in place. Dad was trying to reach for his phone at the same time, and he jerked the car to the left, which made the cooler tip over. And remember, who's in the cooler? The pig. Now it was total chaos. The pig was loose. Manny was crying. Dad was cursing because he couldn't reach his phone. But the main problem was the pig. It was going bananas, running around on the floor and squealing like crazy. Everyone was trying to grab it, but the pig was too slippery. Then all of a sudden, the pig went quiet. And when he popped back up, I knew why. All right, the lovely pig has the pacifier in his mouth. Really, I don't think a pacifier would fit in a pig's mouth, but, I don't know. I reached out real slowly and plucked Manny's pacifier out of the pig's mouth, and that's when it bit me. I guess the pig decided this was its chance to make a run for it. It hopped up on Manny's seat and tried to squeeze through the window, which was still open a crack. The pig managed to get its head and front legs out of the window and would have made it all the way if Mom hadn't jumped over her seat and grabbed its hind legs. Hind means its back legs. But when she lunged for the pig, she kicked a button on the stereo, and now we have the Spanish CD blaring at full volume. Por favor, hable más despacito. Squeal. The whole time, Dad was swerving all over the place. Eventually, Mom got the pig back inside and closed Manny's window. Dad managed to pull the van over and turn off the stereo. It was quiet in the car for a full minute while everyone caught their breath. Dad was really mad that we messed up his business call, and he let us know it. Dun, 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 dun. But he probably should have made sure his phone was off, because when he put it to his ear, his client was still on the other end. Okay, so he was yelling at his family saying, "Oh my gosh, you ruined my business call. Why would we do this?" And then what happened? Oh, guess what? They're still on the call. Oh my goodness. So that day, clearly, once again, nothing really good is happening. I mean, they saw a wood carving of popcorn and they saw some butter statues, but that's not like the funnest thing ever, I wouldn't think. And now we are on to Tuesday. So remember, this started Friday. Now we are on Tuesday. It is like tragedy after tragedy for this poor family. Tuesday. After Dad's work call disaster yesterday, he and Mom had a big, long talk outside the car, and they got back in and drove in silence for a while. Half hour later, we pulled into the parking lot of a petting zoo. Mom opened the side door and took the cooler with the pig in it out of the van. Mom went inside, and 5 minutes later, she came back with the empty cooler. Personally, I wasn't sad to see the pig go, but Manny was a different story. I'm not so sure Mom was doing the petting zoo any favors by donating a pig that bites kids. After speaking of which, my finger was really killing me. Dad said that the pig probably hadn't had any immunizations and might even have rabies, which was not what I wanted to hear. Immunizations means vaccines, like the pig maybe hasn't had any shots because it's so little, so it could carry, something unsafe, and he was bit by it. I've seen enough horror movies to know that when a person gets bit by an animal, nothing good comes of it. The last thing I need is to turn into some kind of werepig because that could really mess up my dating life. There's a full moon tonight. Really? I hadn't even noticed. Mom took one look at my finger and I could tell she was a little worried. She said we should find a doctor to check it out, which didn't really calm my nerves any. Mom tried to find an emergency care place on the GPS, but there was nothing within 50-mile radius. But she did find a veterinarian's office 5 minutes up the road. Okay, so he's about to go to a vet, and vets are clearly for animals, not people. She said a veterinarian would have the same stuff for a regular doctor, but a vet could actually be better because they might know a thing or two about pig bites. I honestly thought Mom was joking around about this veterinarian thing, but she was dead serious. A few minutes later, we pulled into the parking lot. Mom talked to the receptionist at the front desk while the rest of us waited on the bench. And as you can tell in the bottom illustration, Roderick still only has one shoe. Goodness. A minute later, Mom came back with a clipboard and some paperwork to fill out. All I can say is I hope this stuff doesn't get filed on any of my permanent records because if it crops up later in life, it could be embarrassing. Emergency pet care, pet registration. Obviously, he's not a pet, he's a person. Pet's name, Greg. Owner's name, Susan Heffley. Species, human. Last vaccination, January 12th. Is he wormed? Yes. As a toddler, last rabies shot, NA, which means not available. And spayed or neutered, no. That means like fixed, so you can't have babies. Once Mom handed in the forms, the receptionist told me to sit with the other patients to wait for the doctors. You'd think I get some sort of priority because I'm a human being, but I got put behind a gerbil that had swallowed a cigarette and a cat that had its face stuck in a yogurt container. When we had our dog Sweetie, Mom had to take him to the vet a bunch of times for getting into stuff that he wasn't supposed to eat. But the last time she took him, she didn't really need to. Mom had found a bunch of empty cellophane wrappers from a pack of whoopie pies in the laundry room, and she figured Sweetie had eaten them. Apparently, chocolate is like poison to a dog, so Mom rushed him to the vet to get his stomach pumped. But when Mom brought Sweetie home from the vet, she told me that he had gotten into the whoopie pies. I felt kind of bad because I was the one who ate them, not the dog. And from what I've heard, getting your stomach pumped isn't a real pleasant experience. I owe you one. All right, we are going to stop right there today. If you got on late and missed some pages, the recording will be up in about a half an hour or so. Because remember, reading RTI starts at 9 o'clock. So if you were late, you're just going to have to watch the recording. We read from page 90 all the way to page 128. If you haven't finished your questions from yesterday, be sure to do so. I will see you guys later. Have a lovely day. Evan, I'm 100% sure you have projects that go along with your book. I'm concerned on why you're not